Dancers is a utopian project to bring the dancer to the center of our gaze, so that the dancer, who is always, almost always an interpreter, almost always someone who serves other artists, choreographers, directors, but has devoted his life to dance, to this beautiful art. It is a way to bring this person into our focus, so we can see this artist for himself, for herself, the dancer dancing for him or herself, and not for as an interpreter of another choreographer. That is the main idea, and the idea is to bring that focus on this artist into a representation, so that other people throughout the world can see and appreciate this. And so for this, the project, we film dancers in ideal circumstances, and we put these videos of 2 minutes on the internet, on our dancersproject.com, and also on a great big installation, life-size installation, very big, monumental, where the dancer is real size, full size. So we can see the dancer in the best possible way, doing their work as a dancer. So the future of dancers, the Dancers Project, is, I hope, very long, and we are in the beginning. The future is for us to be able to film in our perfect conditions with exactly the same way of filming each dancer for 2-minute solos, to film them throughout the world, all over the world, for a long period of time, maybe the next 10 years if possible. So we can create a kind of big collection, a kind of snapshot of dancers today, professional dancers, in any style or technique, whether it be contemporary or classical or hip-hop or African or any kind of technique that is, as long as they're professional dancers, from now until, I don't know, until this project finishes, accumulate all of these solos of 2 minutes of these great dancers, and just build this great database, a great kind of artistic opus, or an oeuvre, a kind of snapshot, a kind of vision of dance today, and also as long as this project continues. Well, it's a collective opus, it's a collective piece. You know, Manuela had the original idea, and she had the title, and everything is in the title. Everything is there, dentro por fuera, fuera por dentro. It is really kind of the source of this whole piece. And what was interesting is when we began it, she gave this really nice document, this project document to me, and said, this is what I want to make. You want to join me and make this with me. And so I read it, and then I said, well, I would like to contribute this to this project. And so I made a project document with a different approach to the same subject. And I put that on top of it. And so we had our kind of 2 perspectives, how we thought we could come to this piece. Hers with her ideas about perception, sound, and the sensitivity of us as dancers and to our environment. And I brought to that the desire to have a kind of mature, strong dramaturgy between 2 people, 2 characters almost. I felt that there would probably be in our relationship in the creation, but also on stage, something that becomes strong, and between a man and a woman, something that is not completely abstract, and this is the 2 ways that came together to form this one world. Yeah. It's a very interesting question. Very interesting. And it's interesting that you pose this question after having seen the performance, because there is something in her way of moving and in my way of moving that that flexibility and speed are palpable, are used in a very subtle and dynamic and constant manner. There are many, many variations of speed and flexibility connection happening in this performance. I see it when I watch the videos of our work and how we do it. I don't know why this is, but she and I both have bodies. I think our muscles and our bodies and our nervous systems have this capacity to be very flexible and with a great dynamic range of reaction, of speed and you could say attack and sustain and relaxation. There's kind of a great dynamic range of our of this continuum between flexibility and speed, and it's really quite complex. And I think it's based upon the very connected to the similarities of our bodies. Even though she's a woman and I'm a man, and we have all a certain age, there's something that we have very much in common in the way our bodies are formed, our power, our strength, our speed, and our subtlety, which is connected to the suppleness, the flexibility of our bodies. You know, the performance begins with a very kind of respectful listening space of perceptions. The three of us are sitting there doing nothing, and then one person goes up, I start, and I dance in silence, and I dance in front of the public, and mine is an improvisation. And since it's in silence, and there's no spectacle, there's no outside dramaturgy that comes in and brings us all to another world. It all depends upon my movements, my being on stage, and the public is witnessing this and perceiving this with great intimacy, because there is no sound or anything. And they can see the fragility of the moment. We all kind of share this. And when Manuela comes out in her solo, just afterwards, which is very written and based upon gestures that have a great deal of signification, she's speaking directly to the public through her gestures. She's addressing them quite directly. Her dance is very frontal also. And then Sigrid comes, and in her viola, her sounds are all based upon the perception, the interest in the perception of the quality of her sounds. She doesn't make melodies and music which has lots of form. It's all, her whole solo is all based upon the quality of the sounds, so that the public comes with her into the strings of her violin and feels it and listens to it. So these three solos in the very beginning, which is a big part of the piece, are ways to connect to the public, so that the public can share very subtle perceptions, which we are also participating in. And that is our way of connecting to the public and communicating with them, and try to have the same quality of sensitive perception about this piece. And then the piece develops and becomes more story and more abstract and more aesthetic. But we, for a long time, try to create a union of perception with the public. I like this concept very much, and I often use this idea in describing choreography. You know, every art that I know of, that I think I'm quite sure of this, every art that exists, whether it is literature, music, painting, drawing, architecture, everything is a physical art. It all resides in the body first, even if it's writing, even if it's poetry. It's a physical act. Everything happens within our bodies and through our bodies. And in this sense, I see our choreography as a way of painting in the space. Painting in the space over time. I find our gestures, movements that design the space, that form space, just like a picture or a trace in a painting. The way we move in certain qualities have color or bring color to our minds. So I find painting a very good metaphor for what we do. It's just that our painting occurs over time because it's a performance that is an hour long. And also the way we speak through our bodies is metaphorical, symbolic. It isn't like literature or something where everything has an exact meaning. It's suggestive, and painting is very much suggestive. Yes, it was great. We enjoyed it very much. It was a very high moment for us to be able to bring this project into a full, complete production and actually have it crystallize and occur on stage here in Seville in the Messe de Danza, in the Théâtre Central. For us, it was perfect. And the next time we're going to perform is going to be in Malaga in a couple of weeks, and then we're going to bring this project to Brussels, and we're going to do it for 2 weeks in February in the Théâtre Marny in Brussels.